just to explain my process of running and exercising for weight loss or for muscle gains, right? So there's two things, right? So one thing is the muscle fiber, and the second thing is repetitions, right? So as far as um, people that do cardio to lose weight or to build muscle, right? So type 1 muscle fiber is for endurance athletes, typically for endurance exercises, I should say. And type 1 muscle fiber has more mitochondria. And in theory, type 1 muscle fiber recovers faster. Type 2 muscle fiber has a lot of size. So given that, right, people do cardio to lose weight, right, to burn calories. So you burn more energy more efficiently when you build type 1 muscle fiber, right? Because you're going through oxidation more efficiently. One thing that I would say to someone that runs, for example, 2 miles every single day and they lift weights, I would say vary that up a little bit, right? So 2 miles a day, assuming that you're taking Saturday off or Sunday off or one day a week off, you're running 12 miles a week, right? And I did this little analysis of my run plan where I'm running about 27 miles a week. And then you can adjust that to running 2 miles a day or the same amount of volume, but you're actually concentrating on various distances and running various times so that you're not taxing the muscle in the same way. And believe it or not, these different speeds that you're going to be running utilize various muscle groups and energy systems. And so that some days you're running short runs that are really fun to do, and some days you're running longer runs that are really, there for endurance building. And when you get that full spectrum, when you build your endurance, you can also build your speed because you don't really want to be doing the same amount of exercise on the same exercise every single day, right? So you don't want to run 2 miles on Monday, 2 miles on Tuesday, 2 miles on Wednesday, 2 miles on Thursday, 2 miles on Friday, 2 miles on Saturday, then take Sunday off and start again. Monday, 2 miles. If that were a book, right, and you were reading like one chapter of the book, how long would it be before you got tired of that chapter, right? Maybe if it was a good book, it may be like a couple years, maybe at the very least. Unless you're looking at it different ways, you're gonna see the same thing every single time you read that chapter. So even if you're running the same distance, right, may not you probably may even try to run a different route or even have a different terrain. That makes a big difference, right? So if you run 2 miles every day, maybe one day you run only on the road or on a sidewalk or a track. One day you run on grass. One day you run on gravel. One day you run on sand. That's almost as good as varying the distances up because the surface will determine how fast or slow you're going to do that run. And you typically would run slower on grass than you would on the road, right? That would be another way to keep it cool, keep it, legit, right? Run on different surfaces because typically you don't want to do the same exercise every single day, right? I mean, you can, there's nothing wrong with it, but as far as being able to maximize your potential, you're leaving a lot on the table for what you're spending in energy and time, right? So if you spend time running fast, you'll gain a lot of speed, and you're developing a lot of what I call oxygen throughput, right? So your mitochondria and your muscles are being trained to process oxygen really fast, really efficiently, right? And this is really good for your cardiovascular health, right? And I think your cardiovascular health plays a role in how you recover, so that when you're lifting weights for size, you can recover more efficiently. Like I kind of started this off kind of jumbled up, but basically I want to combine and this idea of muscle fiber and this idea of building muscle for size. I want to combine that together to get across the point that there's a union between them both that benefit each other, right? So they benefit in like weight loss if you're trying to cut. Also, you building a strong sense of recovery, right? In this little methodology, you're going to be recovering from exercise more efficiently and likely to be building muscle at an optimum level. So basically, I whittle it down. So someone that runs 2 miles a day for 6 days, a week. If they're running on the same surface, right? The one day could be a 400 meters total. Second day is 1,000 meters. Third day is 1,800 meters. The next day is 1,300 or 1,200 meters. The next day is 2,100 meters, and the last day is a 5K, right? So on the days where it's a 400 meter, you can run one 400 meter, or you could run 4 100 meters and write down your time so that when you do it next week, you can see if your times improve. And like if it's a 1,000 meter day that you're gonna run in volume, run 4 250s, right? You run 250 meters 4 times, right? And take your time and write it down to see how you compare from the week before to the week previous. And along with this, you can also test out certain foods that may be good or better for performance, right? So typically I would eat 3 hours before I'm gonna exercise, and you can play around with the foods that you're eating. Just test, like I would test ramen noodles versus white rice versus brown rice versus oatmeal, for example, to see how each of those affects your running and your workouts, and maybe getting it to the point where you can understand which food works best for you for doing this cardio. That same food might work really well for you for doing resistance training. And I will also say that, this whole idea of food being healthy, you'll hear me talk about this. Let me fix my glasses. So there is no healthy or unhealthy food. Well, there is unhealthy food, right? But like between brown rice and white rice, right? So one of those is good for performance, and the other one is good for recovery. And so what food that we consider healthy, some of it may not be good for performance, and some of it may not be good for recovery, right? So anyway, it's context based. But anyway, that's it. I hope you reach your fitness goals, and I'll talk to you next time.